Hello YouTube! Today I wanted to give an update for streaming on this channel because I have been streaming here for about a year and a half, and recently I haven't been. So the thing about that is I find it a little bit odd, and I always have to debate with myself of whether to keep the streams on unlisted, public, members only, and I'm always trying to figure out what to do with those streams, as well as YouTube just doesn't feel like at this point as good of a streaming platform as Twitch. So I've been streaming more on Twitch now, back on Twitch. That's the link in the description. However, I know that a lot of people are members here, so I want to kind of give something back to the members, or at the very least make them more active on the video side of it as opposed to the stream side of it. I still might stream here occasionally on the YouTube, but it's not going to be my main streaming place at all. I've been streaming, my normal 4 days a week on Twitch recently. But for the YouTube members, I know that there are YouTube member, exclusive discussion boards that I kind of want to utilize a lot more. And I want to make at least one video every 2 weeks that are just topics from the members. And that can be the $1 member, the $5 member, the $10 member. It doesn't really matter because it's just extra support for the channel regardless. Which I greatly appreciate all the people that have become members and use the emotes and chats and, all the regulars for my YouTube chats. I know that a decent amount of them are also the Twitch regulars. So again, I appreciate that people are kind of going back and forth between where I'm streaming, but for the time being, I'm going to be mostly streaming on Twitch. And I know a while ago I had a discussion board up about what topics people wanted, but it was quite a bit ago, and I didn't find anything that was particularly oh, this is what I can make a video about. But I can really quickly go over some just to get it, up to speed, so that if you are a member, you can, get your questions answered, and if you're not a member, you can kind of see what the type of thing is we can get for these future videos. The first thing I have is a question about a discussion regarding healthy and unhealthy habits / mindsets in the FGC or esports in general. It might help some people along and might be something you might find interesting to look into. So the thing about the mentality aspect is I always find that it is definitely the best to make sure you're having fun when you are in esports or competing or something like that, because first and foremost, it should be fun. You're playing a video game, and I feel like the less fun that you are having overall, that means that when you lose or when you're struggling with something, it's just not going to be something you want to push through, and instead just it ends up being you're kind of just ramming your head into a wall. Whereas I feel like if you have fun, even if something is frustrating you at the very least are having fun while figuring something out, which I find to be a much better process. That's why I don't necessarily just I'm gonna play Steve because he's the best character, I'm gonna play X character like Sonic because he's the second best character, whatever people think, right? I more care about the characters that are fun to me, even if I could play Steve or Sonic or Game & Watch or Rob or whatever, because those characters aren't as fun to me, so I enjoy them less, which means that figuring stuff out is less fun for me, which means that if I lose, I'm not going to be enjoying myself, and that would just make me quit the character anyway. I definitely think both a combination of having fun with your characters is super important, especially in regards to Smash, right? And then also the second thing is making sure you give your opponent credit, right? I feel like anytime some people lose, they're just oh, this character is stupid, or why is this player doing this? And while sometimes, of course, that does make sense if someone's completely randoming you out, that's understandable, but you can really only say that someone's random youing out when you're already really good and able to discern whether or not someone's doing something randomly or not. And typically if you're getting randomed out, it's because you don't have a solid enough game plan to beat people just doing random stuff, which is a you problem again. So you can internalize what you are having issues with, but also give people a bunch of credit. That's why when players do crazy stuff against me, I'm always just that was really good, or I'll pop off for them. I know Leo's done really good stuff versus me, and I'm just oh my god, you're so good. Mars has done it, Void's done it. So many top players that have done really good stuff to me, I'm just Jesus, you're so good. And even if I'm losing, getting 2 stock, 3 stock, when I play Sonics, I'm just oh my god, he's so good. He's literally just player diffing me. It's insane. And so I feel that's really important, is just to give credit where credit is due, and also realize at the same time what you could be doing better. About character pools, how many characters should you focus on getting an understanding of playing? Can it get too big, and should you switch for a character that does better in a certain matchup over a comfort pick competitively? That of course is going to be just a personal decision. I feel there is a good split between co-mains and solo mains at the top level. There's plenty of solo main Foxes and Snakes and Steve mains, but then there's also a lot of people that play secondaries. I know that in the top 10, or the old top 10, I think it was half-half, where it was Akola is mostly a Steve main but does play other characters. Mia is now a dual main with Game & Watch and Steve. You have Dabuz play multiple characters, even though I don't think Dabuz was top 10, but just like, you know, the people that I'm thinking of currently. But then like Light is a solo main, Sonics is a solo main, Ken at this point is a solo main with just Sonic. You have Shutone, who is a dual main between, you know, Pyramithra and Olimar. You have Yoshidora, who's just a Yoshi player. So there's plenty of like good players that play one character and good players that play multiple characters. So it really depends on how you are viewing the game. If you think that your one character can do every matchup in a realistic fashion, then just play your one character. But if you want to play multiple characters, just, you know, try to pick ones that, you know, cover as much as you can. I definitely feel like playing 6 or 5 random mid-tiers that kind of all do well in specific matchups is pretty exhausting for tournament, because that means that all 5 characters have to be playing well in order for you to do well. And realistically, they probably don't have winning matchups versus all the top tier characters you're struggling against. It might be like even, because I know that there's plenty of mid tiers that have evens with even like super top tier characters like Steve and Sonic. Sonic I'm not so sure about, but you know, in general. You know, I would definitely limit it to probably, like, personally, like 3 characters that you really want to focus on, like your main secondary, and then a character that covers the 1 or 2 matchups that these 2 characters don't cover. I think that's the real best way to do it, because you can mostly play your one character, play your second character if you are running into like the plethora of matchups you like, either you personally or you with your character struggle with, and then the third one to kind of be like, yeah, that's the glue to just like kind of put them in the correct spot. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts on Joker in the current meta in Smash Ultimate? Is he just not as good as people thought, or is he just too hard to make work consistently enough? I mean, Joker's really good. I think I put him in like 11th or so in my last tier list, and I think that's still currently my opinion. But also in this game, again, you can kind of be like top 35 or 40 or 50 and be fine. So being top 11, even if it's not, you know, Steve, Sonic, Game & Watch, Pikachu level of strength, Joker's still crazy. I mean, we saw just now Leo with his run at Let's Make Big Moves. Like, Joker is a great character. You also have other Jokers, like I think Goryoka in Japan, you have Omega in the United States, you have, I know there's another Japanese Joker that I can't think of at the moment, but there's plenty of good Joker players. Joker is a really strong character with some rough matchups. I know he loses pretty rad to Pikachu and Pichu and Sonic, which of course is now a lot more of a meta-relevant matchup, but he does well in other matchups. I think he does okay versus Steve, like probably even. He probably goes even with Game & Watch or beats him, or maybe that's just like Leo versus Meister thing. I don't know. I would love to see Mia versus Leo. I think that's honestly, that would be super fun to watch, but we haven't seen it yet. But Joker is still really good. He's definitely worth it to play. You just might need to either really learn the Sonic matchup or, you know, have a secondary for it. So I definitely, yeah, I think Joker is still very strong. He's a good character, but you definitely need to be really good with him. But at this point, you need to be really good with everyone because people are just so good at this game. And yeah, a lot of the other ones are just a little bit too in-depth for me to do in a quick sort of rapid fire session. So that's going to be it for this one. If you are a member, I'm making a post right now doing this for the next week or so, and I'm going to then make a video about it. It's going to be a little bit more in-depth than this one of just kind of like doing the rapid fires. Like, they can be full-fledged videos, and you know, I want to do at least one every week or 2 weeks to give back to the members for supporting the channel. And you know, I'll have, I don't know why I didn't do it, but I'll have like the credit of people in the outro of the videos as well. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it as always. Social media and partner stuff is down below, and I will see you all next time. Peace. Don't forget to check out the Twitch.